Well, thanks, Alex, so much for coming on, sharing your wisdom.
Glad to be here.
So appreciate it. All right, you guys. So when you're looking to buy a home, here are 3 things to remember when it comes to your money to know that you are ready to buy that home. First and foremost, I want you completely out of debt and a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses in the bank. So this is great because this sets you up for your house to be a blessing, not a curse. And Alex, you know that, but it is. It's so key. So key to be out of debt and have that emergency fund. Because
that's right.
If you're broke, you guys, and you buy a house, you become broker is what ends up happening. So getting that solid foundation is so, so key. And then next, I want to make sure that you have a good down payment on your home. So Alex, I always tell people 10 to 20% down payment is like the ideal world. So would you agree with that?
For sure. So we recommend putting 10% down. By doing that, keep in mind, these folks are working towards ultimately getting the home paid off.
Yes.
Right. And so if somebody says, hey, can I get a loan and put nothing down? They are out there. Those are options. It's just not consistent with where we're trying to go.
I think that is great advice. And you guys, if you are saving up for a down payment, you can click the link in the show notes and get my free down payment goal tracker to help you stay encouraged while you're saving up for that down payment. And then last but not least, when you're taking out your mortgage, make sure to get a 15-year fixed rate and that your payment is no more than 25% of your take-home pay. So that's key. All right, Alex, you've been doing this for how long? How long have you been selling homes and helping people buy homes?
6 weeks now. No.
I literally was like, you're really good at this.
12 years. 12
years, okay.
Yeah.
So what are some things that people should be looking for when they're going to buy a home?
The first thing I would do would be encourage them to remember what got them here, right? So patience. They're working a plan, and they've had discipline.
Yes.
And so what you don't want to do is throw all those things out, get into the process, be overly emotional, and then put yourself in a bad situation, right? The second thing that we want to encourage people that have never bought a home before is that this is your first home. Like there's probably going to be a second, maybe a third, a fourth, a fifth. Yeah. This is not your forever home. So just keeping that in mind.
Because it's emotional, right? Because like when you're buying a home, you're imagining yourself in it, especially your first one, right? It's like this is like the biggest purchase you've ever made in your life for most people. And it's like, this is where I'm going to raise my family. This is where life's going to happen. It's going to be so exciting and so great.
That's right.
But it's probably not going to be your dream home, especially your first one. So I think that's a great realistic expectation just to throw out there and remember. So that's good.
Yeah. So now that we have the right mindset, then we're going to work on 3 things before we go shopping. The first thing is getting really clear on a budget. We know what you all recommend with, having a mortgage with HOAs and taxes no more than 25% of your take home.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean they're clear on their budget. So they need to get clear on their budget first.
That's good.
The second thing would be a wish list, and not just a wish list, but prioritizing your wish list. And some of those may be non-negotiable, and others may be strong preferences. But that's going to be really helpful for somebody starting out.
And those non-negotiables, I think, are so important because, I think about for instance, it could be a yard, right?
Yep.
Like you're like, I don't want a 0 lot line. Like we want a yard.
Yep.
And what it does is it just starts narrowing down what you want. And those big priorities, those non-negotiables, you're still going to have options, but it's not like this whole world of houses and it's so overwhelming. It does narrow it down and it helps you be wise in those decisions. I think that's so smart.
Yep. The third thing is going to be choosing an agent, hiring an agent. We recommend reaching out to an endorsed local provider in your area for real estate services. And when you're looking for an agent, when you're interviewing those agents, we recommend interviewing anywhere from 2, 3, however many it takes to be comfortable. And you're probably going to be comfortable with them because you trust them.
Yes.
And not
trust is huge.
Not a blind trust, like you're the expert, I don't know what I'm doing. But we're partnering together and I'm trusting you to guide me. I'm trusting that you're going to be patient with me to answer questions that I have, right? If red flags pop up or whatever it may be, I'm trusting that you're looking out for me and that you're giving me really good advice.
Such good tips. Okay, so I want to know some red flags.
Okay.
Some things when someone walks in a home that they have to just run out the back door and you're like, get out of there, don't do it. Like, what are the big red flags to look for?
Just throughout the process. Okay, so we're assuming that you're working with an agent that is an ELP and that you trust them and that you're comfortable with them. But if you hear the words, I was thinking about this, if you hear the words coming out of anybody, all right?
I can't wait.
Of that's not a big deal, and then they want to keep moving on, Huge red flag for me.
So good.
And it may or may not be.
Yes.
But
they're not taking the time to explain it.
Yeah,
And
these folks should expect that they take the time to explain it to the point that they are comfortable making their own decision to move forward or not.
So good. Oh, I love that. Oh, guys, there's so much in this. Yeah, for real though.
Yeah.
Such great advice, Alex. Thank you. And I know you guys probably learned a ton. So seriously, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure.